Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're actually out here in Lynn Canyon. We're going to be doing a little bit of a cold plunge, some Wim Hof breathing, and kind of showing you guys what it's all about. So let's get into it. All right, so this is my good buddy Dave Gu. I've known Dave for quite a while now. Like, how long ago would you say we met?
We used to work at Good Life like 7 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah. We both worked for Good Life Fitness back in the day as personal trainers, and I think I was actually a manager at the time. Not at his location, but a different location, and we've stayed connected since then, and he's kind of gone on his own fitness and health journey. You got a new place that you're opening up, right?
Yeah, so it's funny because last year cold exposure was growing so big. There was that meme that came out where it was a guy holding a poster, and it was like, you can cold plunge without telling people you have to cold plunge, you know?
Yeah.
So it's funny now that we're actually building a hot cold facility. So we've got about 5,000 square feet in the west end of Vancouver. We're building a hot and cold space on the patio on the outside, and then on the inside we've got 2 big rooms that we're going to turn into like a breathwork space, sound bath space, and like a hot yoga movement space.
Wow.
So yeah, somehow cold exposure has become like my full-time job.
That's amazing, man. Because I remember, so just a little sidebar, guys, like he got certified with the Wim Hof Method like a couple years ago, and as soon as he did, he ran like his very first seminar, and right away I was like, I got to go to this thing. Like, I'm super interested in doing it. So I actually attended the very first seminar that you hosted.
Back at my place.
Yeah, back at your house.
Yeah.
And we went to like Kitts Beach, and we did the whole thing, and it was a great experience, right? We did like group breath work. You know, you taught us a little bit about the ins and outs of like why the breathing works, and then we actually had that experience. So I guess that's kind of what I want to share on the channel here today, is like, you know, how people back at home can kind of bring some of this stuff into their own life and kind of go from there. So do you want to tell a bit of the story of, you know, how you got into the Wim Hof Method and the breathing, and why that really is a big part of your life now?
Yeah, so I have a disease called ankylosing spondylitis, and so when I was 12, I woke up one morning and I couldn't walk. And my dad's got it too, and his spine's fully fused. So the first 15 years were pretty hard, just navigating this new like chronic pain, and eventually I was out of solutions, and I found Wim Hof online. So I flew out to Spain, spent a week with him and like all of his instructors, came back, and I literally felt so inspired with what I learned there that I went to the dollar store and bought 50 ice trays. And I started doing ice baths every second day because it took the freezer 2 full days to freeze all the ice over.
Wow.
Yeah, and I started just doing ice baths every second day, doing breath work every day. And eventually over time, I think it took me about 8 months of a consistent practice before my body just started completely changing. My pain decreased, stiffness decreased, I started getting more energy, and the biggest thing that was huge for me was I started getting sick way less. Because I used to get sick every month with an autoimmune condition, and that was about 7 years ago. And so like, I've got this new chapter on life essentially.
Yeah, that's amazing, guys. So that's kind of the big story. That's why I actually initially went to go check this out, because his story is so amazing, and you know, some of those benefits are so vast, right? And I had watched some Wim Hof stuff before that. I had watched the Iceman documentary and all this, and I was definitely interested in some of the benefits. And I think that everybody can use a little bit of this in their own life to kind of elevate their life or to help them out. So what would you say for like a regular person is kind of some of the biggest benefits they would see from doing Wim Hof breathing or doing cold exposure?
I think it just depends what people are looking for. Like, now that I've seen hundreds of people go through this process, I think some people go through it just to look for relief in their mental health. Some people look for relief in their physical pain. Some people even look for relief in like experiencing grief or PTSD. It's like everybody's got these like little niche things that they can experience benefit from. So it's been a really beautiful process. I've met so many cool people along the way going through their healing journeys, or just looking to perform better at work, be a better dad, be a better mom, whatever it might be. It's been a really cool journey.
That's awesome, man. No, and I mean, definitely we love to see it. Like, I love to see people, you know, finding their passion, finding things they love. Like, that's obviously why, you know, we run the channel here. Is I'm all about strength training, elevating people's lives and quality of life. So that would be my last question before we get into some breath work and stuff is in terms of strength training, because I know you used to be a coach back in the day. I mean, you still are a coach, but how does strength training still play a role for you today? And what are some of the big benefits for you continuing to train for strength?
I think for me, strength training was the missing key to what my joints actually needed. So I spent the first 15 years going to physio, stretching, doing the bullshit rotator cuff exercises, and I was never getting better, right? And it was only until I started loading my joints properly and executing like compound movements really well that my body started getting stronger. So for me, it's like I have a fragile structural system. Strength training is the only thing that can keep me actually strong and functional to do all the things I love to do out here in the West Coast.
Yeah,
right?
That's so dope, man. Love to hear it. So as you can see, guys, Dave walks the walk. He lives the lifestyle. We're about to get into some Wim Hof breathing now, and then we're gonna jump into the river here for a cold plunge. So we're gonna get changed and we'll get into that next. So see you in a minute. Okay guys, we're out here on the rocks now. I'm here with the king of the cold, the prince of the plunge, and he's gonna take us through some Wim Hof breathing right now.
Oh God.
The big boss of breath. So let's go. We're about to get into it.
I'm just gonna dunk my head in water right now. The prince of the plunge. Oh my God. It's been 7 years. I haven't heard that one. That's great. Right, okay.
So you can put that in your Instagram bio.
That's
Prince of the plunge,
oh,
man.
God.
Yeah.
So the Wim Hof Method breathing, I think one of the reasons why it's so popular is just because how easy it is. And so all it is it's a wave pattern of breathing. So you breathe into your diaphragm or stomach first, followed into your chest. So one big inhale, followed by a soft, quick exhale. Okay, so it looks something like this. And making it nice and cyclical and very smooth. So you're never taking a pause on your inhale or exhale, it's constantly flowing. So you want to think about your exhale as you're only releasing about 60–70% of it, and it should feel very natural, so you shouldn't feel like you're forcing it too much. Make sure you get a big inhale, soft quick exhale, and so you're going to repeat that for 30 to 40 rounds until the very end, and we're about to go into a breath retention hold. So on your 30 to 40th breath wave, what you're gonna do is you're gonna take one last inhale in, followed by a full exhale out this time, and then you hold your breath on the bottom of your exhale. You hold it for as long as you can, and this is actually where a lot of the metabolic stress comes into play, because as you hold your breath, during the hyperventilation phase, you've lowered your body's baseline of CO2, and when you hold your breath, it's not a lack of oxygen that makes you want to breathe again, it's actually a buildup of CO2 in your bloodstream. And so because you've expelled all your baseline CO2, it takes longer for it to climb back up in your breath hold, which means you can hold your breath for actually longer. During this process, as you hold your breath for a long period of time, your oxygen levels start dropping in your body, and that's actually the positive stress on your metabolism and your nervous system that actually allows for the adaptive changes.
Wow.
So we've held our breath for 1, 2, however long. Whenever you feel the urge to breathe, you're gonna take one last inhale in, hold for another 10 to 15 seconds, exhale, and that's one round. And so we typically say do 3 to 6 rounds as a good starting point. And yeah, that's it.
Okay, awesome. Quick question on the, I know about you obviously take a big inhale, you exhale, you hold your breath for as long as you can. On that recovery inhale, I've heard some people say, do you flex your abdominals really hard and you kind of flex in, or what do you like to do?
I like to think about squeezing from bottom up.
Okay.
So squeezing lower body, glutes, lower back, core, chest, and then kind of pressing upwards. Holding for 10–15 seconds there and then letting go.
And then we're back into another round of breathing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, this is not my first time doing Wim Hof breathing, guys. I have done seminars with Dave in the past. He will probably be able to hold his breath a little longer than I can, and that's okay. We're each gonna do our own practices. We're not gonna try to be perfectly aligned. We're gonna go for multiple rounds. We'll kind of bring you guys along for that ride a little bit. I think our filmographer Braden's gonna get some cool shots, and then after that we'll get into the cold plunge stuff. So I think we'll just be starting it up.
Okay. And last piece is you can breathe in through your nose or mouth, whatever's easiest for you.
That's right.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Ready?
Good.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we got our breathing in, so now we're gonna head into the cold. We're probably gonna spend, 2, 3, 4 minutes in there. I don't know how long we're gonna spend in there, but we're gonna try to go for a couple minutes, and we'll see you guys on the other side. Yeah, we're in here now.
Man, this river is always so much colder than it looks.
It is, dude. Sucks the heat right out of ya. We love it though.
Do we?
I don't know.
It's fucking cold.
So we were in there for a couple minutes, and once you get out of the water, you actually want to move slowly. Your blood is now cold, so you don't want to go really quick or sprint or anything like that. We actually do something called horse stance. It's kind of almost like a Tai Chi type movement. We're getting down kind of into our quads, we're heating up our quads, we're heating up our body, and we're moving our limbs, trying to really get active so it kind of reheats our body after being in the cold, in kind of a slow rhythmic movement. Is that basically correct?
Yeah, and just focus on like slow breathing because you want to keep your heart rate as low as possible so it's not pumping the cold blood back into your heart.
Yeah.
So nice and relaxed.
Yeah.
Easy does it.
And that is the Wim Hof Method and some cold exposure, guys. Give it a go yourself. I highly encourage it. Start, slow, maybe with 1 or 2 rounds of breathing. Work your way up. Start with 30 seconds in the cold, a minute in the cold, and then you'll be, you'll be doing it in no time. So I wanted to thank Dave once again for coming onto the channel. Longtime friend of mine, and definitely love to have new faces, different people come on.
And you know, make sure to like the video if you got some value out of it, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.